네, 리뷰어 제어해키입니다. 네, 하이엔드 미넨 2024에서 주목해봐야 할 만한 브랜드. 네, 이번 편은 바로 파인 오디오입니다. 여러분들 참 요즘에 참 좋아하시는 브랜드죠. 네, 제가 라이브 영상에서도 한번 소개를 해드렸지만은 이번에 굉장히 특별한 제품이 나왔습니다. 여러분들 잘 아시는 빈티지, 그다음에 빈티지 클래식의 중간에 있는 빈티지 골드 클래식이라는 제품이 새로 나왔습니다. 거기에다가 이제 고역을 담당하는 트위터를 좀 더 초고역을 만들어주는 슈퍼 트위터 제품이 또 하나가 나왔어요. 네, 그 제품들 한번 안으로 들어가서 한 번 더 보도록 하고요. 그 다음에 이제 파이널 관계자분 한 명 모셔가지고 인터뷰를 해보도록 하겠습니다. 안으로 한번 들어가 보시죠. 네, 이렇게 F703 SP 스피커가 전시가 되어 있고요. 거기에다가도 슈퍼 트랙스라고 하는 슈퍼 트위터가 전시되어 있습니다. F702 SP 스피커 전시되어 있고, 그 다음에 F501 SP 전시가 되어 있습니다. 네, 이번에는 F1 시리즈입니다. F1 시리즈의 10S 스피커, F1 8S 스피커, 그 다음에 F1-5, 저희가 굉장히 많이 소개했던 그 제품이 또 나와 있죠. 그 다음에 빈티지 12 스피커가 전시되어 있고요. 빈티지 슈퍼 트랙스라고 하는 이제 슈퍼 트위터가 또 전시가 되어 있습니다. 네, 그 다음에 이제 매칭은 이제 메가 스피커로 되어 있고, 그 다음에 아마도 이제 유니스 리서치의 이제 퍼포먼스 인티앰프죠. 제시되어 있고요. 요즘에 여러분들 굉장히 많이 사랑하시는 이제 빈티지 5 예쁜 스피커죠. 그다음에 빈티지 10, 그 다음에 빈티지 12 전시가 되어 있습니다. 그 다음에 이제 빈티지 클래식 골드 15 제품이 전시가 되어 있네요. 동축형 이제 유닛을 사용하고 있죠. 가운데에 트위터 부분을 같이 하는 방식으로 되어 있고요. 빈티지 클래식은요, 이 부분이 이제 블랙으로 쓰잖아요. 근데 이거는 이제 빈티지랑 빈티지 클래식을 합친 스타일이다 보니까 이제 여 전면도 전부 다 올롯으로 마감이 이제 되어 있습니다. 그 다음에 하단 부분에 이제 동일하게 에너지 조절하는 부분들, 그다음에 프레스 조절하는 부분이 들어가 있고요. 네, 전반적으로 좀 더 마감이 좀 더 고급스럽게 이렇게 되어 있는 것 같고요. 자, 그 다음에 이쪽에 보시면은 제품이 어떻게 되어 있는지를 볼 수 있도록 이제 설치를 해놨습니다. 네, 이렇게 동축형 유닛을 볼 수 있도록 되어 있네요. 크로스오버, 그 다음에 이제 F1 시리즈 플리스를 볼 수 있는데요. 이제 여기 보시면은 이제 베이스가 이렇게 풀립시도록 퍼질 수 있도록 만들어주는 그런 이제 베이스 트랙스가 이제 이렇게 전시가 되어 있습니다. 자, 그러면은 이제 제가 앉아서 한번 음악을 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
But be prepared to bleed. Oh, you're in my blood like holy wine. It tastes so bitter and it tastes so sweet. Oh, I could drink a case of you. Darling, and still be on my feet. I'd still be on my feet.
I'm Dr. Paul Mills, Director of Engineering at Fyne Audio, and it's a pleasure to be talking to you all today. We started off doing the Vintage series, which is really all our highest end technologies in a very expensive curved birch ply cabinet, and that's a great product, but it's a bit too expensive for a lot of people, so we then did the classic range, which is a more traditional square box. Now, there are some differences in the technologies. The cabinet on classics is actually HDF, high density fiberboard, as opposed to birch ply. The drive unit is similar, but the high frequency magnet is ferrite rather than neodymium, which is good but not quite as good. The crossover components in the Vintage are of a higher level and are cryogenically frozen. A lot of people have are happy with the classic range because it does offer tremendous value for money, but we love the performance of the vintage. Can you do something between them that's less expensive than vintage but has a lot of the technology of the vintage product in there? So it's offering as close a performance to vintage as you can get, but far more affordable for people. So we've taken the higher end tweeter from vintage. We've taken some of the crossover component technology. We've made the cabinet, even though it's rectangular, we've made the cabinet out of birch ply. So it's more stiff, more rigid, so has less coloration. And we've also treated the entire crossover to the cryogenic treatment of the vintage, which helps lower coloration and improves transparency. So you're getting a lot of the performance of the high-end models at a more affordable price. We can use it with virtually any product, essentially. Visually, the very first Supertrax product was designed to be walnut, so it matches the vintage and classic range. But we've just at the show launched a black version, which is more universal in its application. It can be used with virtually any speaker, gloss black, gloss white, whatever. And where we intended this Supertrax to be used with our own point source driver. They can in fact be used with any loudspeaker, and we've heard from some of our dealers in the UK that they are selling them with other people's products which aren't point source. Conventional super tweeter, it fires forward, and as frequency increases it becomes more and more directional, so it's almost like a laser beam.
Yeah.
So it only really works on axis with the listener. What the Supertrax does is to fire the energy upwards onto a diffuser, which is a shape we call the tractrix, and this disperses the energy through 360 degrees. So it enables people listening off axis to get a more realistic sound. And also, it's interesting to think that a lot of the energy you hear is reflected energy off the walls, off the boundaries of the room. Now, the Supertrax is positioned at the acoustic centre of our point source driver. So it means that the harmonics of all frequencies are in phase with each other, and it gives a really coherent sound. And that's unlike the conventional kind of super tweeter. I think it's fair to point out that the people within the company are very experienced in the industry. And between them have many, many decades of knowledge and know-how, basically. And the other thing that's, I think, important to think about is that we are a small company, a small group. We're not a big corporate organisation. We don't have to get ideas past layers of management and whatever. We're a small team, we can work quickly, we're agile, and that enables us to get things to market quicker. One is the designs of our compression drivers, the types of waveguides we use, which these designs are unique to us. Also the fine flute surrounds you see on the outside of the bass mid-range drivers. There are sort of dimples which you can see, and the idea of them is to better terminate energy compared to a conventional surround where the energy from the voice call can be reflected back down the cone, which leads to coloration. We wanted to make the loudspeaker more room-friendly, essentially. Normally you have a forward-firing port or a rear-firing port. With a forward-firing port you can sometimes hear turbulence within the port. With a rear-firing port, sometimes if it's too close to the wall you can run into problems. Both have various merits or disadvantages. We downfire the energy So a bit like the way I've just explained the super tweeter works, the super tracks, the energy from the port hits this diffuser, and the plane wave of energy is then radiated through 360 degrees into the room. Now this makes the loudspeaker porting, the bass performance, a lot less sensitive to the location in the room because the low frequencies are being radiated in all directions. It's all about musical engagement, musical enjoyment. If you go around this show, you might hear a lot of loudspeakers that sound very hi-fi. A lot of clever technology has been used in some very expensive loudspeakers, but when you sit and listen, it sounds like hi-fi, it doesn't sound like music. We want to produce speakers which, through our understanding of the way they work and the fact that we're very avid listeners, we want the emotion of the music to be conveyed across to the listener. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. There are technical aspects like the precision of the bass, the dynamic range, the stereo imaging, things like that, the transient performance, they're all very important. But all these elements must be judged together in terms of the design as a whole, so we can let the listener enjoy their favourite music. That's really what it's all about.
네, 하이엔드 미네 2024에서 주목해야 할 브랜드. 네, 다음 브랜드는요, 오토폰입니다. 여러분, 오토폰은 아마 들어보신 분들이 굉장히 많으실 거예요. 카트리지계의 애플과도 같은 그런 이제 시장에서 굉장히 또 이제 콘코드라는 이제 새로운 카트리지를 또 가지고 나왔다고 해요. 그래서 안쪽으로 한번 들어가서 제품을 보도록 하겠습니다. 들어보시죠. 오토폰이 이제 카트리지 말고도 다양한 액세서리를 이렇게 제작하고 있어요. 뭐 얼라이먼트 툴이라든지 이제 카트리지 이제 무게를 재는 부분이라든지, 그다음에 헤드실 같은 것들도 이렇게, 그다음에 리드 와이어까지, 그다음에 이제 2M 카트리지들 이제 이렇게 전시를 하고 있습니다. 그다음에 2M이 이제 프리마운트까지 해가지고 맛들 전시가 이렇게 되어 있고요. 그다음에 이쪽에는 이제 엑스클루시브라는 이제 MC 카트리지가 전시가 되어 있고요. 이제 그 옆에 콘코르드 뮤직이라는 이제 새로운 카트리지가 이제 이렇게 전시가 되어 있습니다. 네, 이 카트리지 종류가 굉장히 많아가지고요. 뭐 이제 나중에 제가 이제 인터뷰를 좀 진행을 하면서 어떤 제품이 이제 있는지 한번 좀 설명을 드리고요. 네, 지금은 또 이제 시연을 하기 위해서 저렇게 준비하고 있고요. 지금은 이제 카트리지를 좀 바꾸는 거를 이제 직접 이제 보여주고 있습니다. 자, 그러면 이제 앉아서 한번 이제 설명이랑 음악을 좀 들어볼게요.
Started to cry, but then remembered I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, yeah, I can hold my hand, yeah, I can love me.
네, 지금까지 이제 오토폰 카트리지 직접 시연하는 것들을 들어봤습니다. 콘코르드 뮤직이라고 새로운 카트리지 나왔는데 그걸 직접 이제 하나씩 바꾸면서 굉장히 쉽게 바꾸는 것도 이제 봤고요. 소리도 바뀌는 것도 봤습니다. 그러면 이제 오토폰 관계자분을 모시고 자막하게 이제 오토폰에 대해서 인터뷰하는 시간을 가져보도록 하겠습니다.
Glad to meet you. My name is Peter Vidjord. I'm a senior product manager here at Ortofon, and also the person who came up with the idea that we should make an Ortofon Concorde cartridge for music listening. Well, we have a wide range of cartridges, both for listening but also professional cartridges for DJing, scratching. The cartridges we are presenting here, the Concorde Music, is cartridges for listening. It has the binet mount for direct mounting on turntables, just like the Technics we use here, and plenty of other brands. The construction is fixed coils with a very, very delicate silver-plated copper wire. A lot of windings giving a tremendous output. Then we have an exchangeable stylus where we have the magnet, the cantilever and the diamond, and of course the rubber damper. The series is created that way that the cartridge motor and generating system with the coils is the same through the whole series. So the starting model being the red, 149 euros. From that one you can just upgrade the stylus, and then you can go from the bottom to the top of the line, and that will be with full benefit. It has been quite a project because we chose to upgrade the cartridge body, we chose to upgrade the stylus inner core, we developed new rubber dampers, but we use the same diamond and cantilever configuration as our 2M series. We use a lot of different types. First of all, I'd say there are also different types of diamond, because on the red one, on the cantilever, it's a metal shank, and underneath the metal shank we have the diamond tip. Whereas the blue one, more premium models, have a nude diamond where it's without a metal shank, it's diamond all on the stylus tip. The red one is elliptical, the blue is nude elliptical, bronze has a fine line, a nude fine line, black one has a shibata, nude shibata, and then when we go up to the black LVB 250, our top of the line, there we have a nude shibata on a boron cantilever. So there we are in the very high end of the style line. First of all, there are a few ways of mounting the cartridge. This one is of course for the bayonet or the direct mount cartridges, where you just mount it on the end of the tone arm. Others are like the half-inch with two screws that you connect to the tone arm. In case of the direct connector, which are being used for cartridges like the Concord Music, there you only need to place it in the tone arm, lock it, make sure that the height of the tone arm is adjusted. So while playing back, the tone arm should be parallel with the record surface. And also, of course, the tracking force should be as stated in the manual. For the Concord Music series, it's 1.8 grams for all of the cartridges. And then when everything is set up, the anti-skating should be also set up so you are reaching both left and right side of the groove